Hi guys, it's SkintBoot here, and today what I'm going to be bringing you guys is another No Man's Sky video. And today's video is going to be somewhat of an extension of the previous video which I made, which was regarding my own personal thoughts on what would be really good additions to No Man's Sky. I was essentially speculating some features that would just make it a bit closer to the game it was hyped up to be. And in that video, I stated that if you leave a comment down below regarding what you yourselves would like to see in the game, then at some point in the future, I would use these comments in a video. So today, because of the massive amount of support and comments relating to that video, I've decided to bring you a video regarding what the community would like to see added into No Man's Sky, not my own personal opinions. So I've got multiple comments here. I can't include every single one because otherwise the video would be a little bit too long for my liking, because I do want to talk about them a little bit. These are all comments on the No Man's Sky videos which I have received, so I'll be placing the comments on screen for you to see, and I'll also be reading them out because that's what every YouTuber does for some reason. So first and foremost, we have a comment from someone called Austin.Muelrath. Probably said that wrong, sorry mate. But he pretty much just put a comment saying that he made a Reddit post about all of the changes he would like to see in the update. So naturally I followed the link, and it's pretty fucking extensive. I mean, congrats, because you must have spent a really long time on this. It's actually a really nice page for looking at information. But pretty much, I'm not going to be reading everything because it's fat as. So instead, I'll post a link to it in the description down below if you want to read it for yourselves. But I just picked a few points from this which I think would be the most interesting to talk about. And one of the things which Austin said I really liked, and that is the concept of side quests. So he mentioned that in the game, there should be almost like settlements or cities on planets. Of course, not every planet, but just some have bits of civilization, like buildings or little camps, anything like that which house NPCs. He said that in pre-release footage where it was shown the planet with the massive worm that just riveled past, there seemed to be somewhat of a structure, looking like kind of like a Borderlands style base. So his bit of speculation is that there should be these cities in the game, but instead of them just being there for you to collect a specimen, there's actually NPCs there that give you side quests, give you other things to do. Now, he states a lot of different things to do with this. All he's saying is that you have this concept of going to someone, they tell you to do something, and you go and do that. It's essentially like a fetch quest, but just that bit more interesting. So Austin states that you could do something like speaking to a alien. He says that some bloke went and stole something from his ship. You go after this bloke, you kill him or whatever, you speak to him and you get it back. You go back to the original bloke, and then you just get some sort of reward. And pretty much all he says is that this will just make the game more enjoyable, and I agree with you, because the thing is, the game lacks a purpose. This is an underlying problem with the game. So side quests and actual sense of progression, as opposed to just getting to the center of the galaxy, would be very much appreciated. As I said before, the full link to the article will be in the description down below for you to check out, because I do recommend you do, because there's some really good points in there. So thank you, Austin, for your comment. Really means a lot. Love you lots, babes. Alright, so next up we have a comment from someone, again with a really hard name to pronounce, called Lewis Piers Illustrator. At least I assume that's how you say his name. And pretty much he says this: what I want in the game is ring planets, waterfalls on the landscapes, and also I would love to have a lot of procedurally generated cities and villages or complex ruins to explore. I just want more stuff to keep discovering lost among the already amazing landscapes. And to be honest with you, I could not agree more. Just more things to find on planets apart from the landscapes themselves would be great. You know, it's nice finding a cave, but to find an actual physical object, like Lewis said, would be fantastic. This is one of the gripes I have with the game, because for a game about procedural generation, the fact that they can make a planet out of maths, why are all the abandoned buildings and spaceships the same? Why can't they procedurally generate those? It would make so much more sense. But yeah, it's a great idea. Definitely just something else to do, as opposed to just aimlessly walking around. So thank you very much, Lewis, for that comment. Okay, so next up we have someone going by the name of King Ezra, and King Ezra states the following: I think an elements update should happen. Make it 3 different parts: land, air and sea. Land would obtain crashed freighters on planet surfaces, different animal species, new planet types, examples like desert planets, tundra planets, etc. Environmental obstructions like lava, waterfalls or ravines, and small villages or towns. air or space would add different space stations, freighters inside atmosphere, floating trading posts, moving freighters, and a lot more. Sea would also add crashed ships in the water, maybe even a submarine, different coloured water, bigger fish, and more species of underwater animals. And he then goes on to state very, very simply, there's so much they could do with something like this. And that last sentence sums it up so well. Pretty much, I agree with you completely. The game needs variation. That's what it needs. The idea of having different kind of biomes, as you will, so like desert planets, tundra planets, etc., is a really, really good idea. Also, things like lava and waterfalls, ravines, anything like that, you would expect to be in the game anyway, but they're not for some reason. It's like, you know, when you see the planets from outer space and it looks like there's lava on it, but there never is. So maybe that means perhaps in pre-E3 there was some lava. But yeah, very, very good comment. I really like your ideas. Thank you for taking the time to comment. Okay, so coming up, we have another comment by the name of someone called Ziggy the Assassin, and he states the following: I think space stations need to be more expansive and varied. Like, it would be cool if Viking space stations look all heavily defended with defense turrets and shit, while Korvax space stations look all high-tech with teleporters to different areas of the space stations, and Gex stations look very basic and average. Also, NPCs need to be walking around like actual living things, and maybe they could have a market in each space station where there are lots of different shops and you can rob them. But each space station has sentinel drones kept in a certain area, and NPCs could take out their own multi-tools to shoot you. I hope someday space stations are like that. Now, that's a pretty far-fetched idea, but to be honest with you, I like the idea of it. Almost get like a kind of feeling of Skyrim, sort of Whiterun, you know, with the market, and then you can go and steal something, then the whole fucking city comes after you and fights you. But yeah, it's a very, very interesting idea, that is for sure. Most importantly, I think in this comment is the idea of each of the factions having their own different space stations. Because at the moment, they look identical, pretty much. There's nothing to differentiate them. Having them, for example, being more defended or more technological or more average just further differentiates the factions between each other, makes them that bit more unique. And I really do like that. Because 100% Ziggy, I agree with you, factions need to be made more interesting. They need to be made a bigger part of the game. That is for sure. So a big thank you to you for taking the time to comment. Really, really appreciate it. Okay, so next up we have a comment by the name of someone called Plo617, and this individual suggests a load of different things, a load of really, really good things for that matter. Again, I'll include some kind of link to this, maybe even a Guyzo image for you to see for yourself, because this would take way too long to read out. But again, I picked out, in my opinion, some of the most interesting things to talk about. So by far the most interesting thing I believe this individual has commented is to do with actual mounts, animals that you can tame and ride them. It would make a lot more sense, to be honest with you. The amount of animals I've seen that look almost like horses or like buffalo or something, it makes sense for you to be able to craft something to pop on them, like a saddle, and then you can ride them if, say, you're running low on resources and can't afford to buy a car. He also states that there should be desert planets with the fat worms that were shown off in pre-release trailers, and to be honest with you, that's the best thing. I don't get why there aren't any sand desert planets, as he states. I could have sworn that in pre-release footage there was, but fuck knows. Pretty much it just comes back to the same idea. There needs to be more variation on planets. But again, I'll include a link to the full comment because there are a load of really, really great things down below. Thank you very much for taking the time to comment. Okay, so now we have a comment which says a very, very straightforward fix almost, as opposed to an addition to the game, and I could not agree with it more. Their name is Stop Asking Me to Change My Name. I like that, I must admit, I do like that. This individual puts, they should add an autosave feature when you enter or leave your vehicle like they do with your ship, considering the game crashes enough for it to be inconvenient and worrisome to travel long distances in your car if you travel for 20 minutes and then the game crashes, losing valuable time. To be honest with you, there's nothing I can fault with this. This is just 100% accurate. It would make a lot more sense. Hopefully they can pop that in with a cute little hotfix one day. Very, 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 very simple comment, but 100% agree with you. Thank you once more. Okay, so coming up now, we actually have a top comment on the previous video by the individual called Mac for a Day, I believe. If I got your name wrong, I'm sorry, just forgive me. So pretty much He or she states the following: looks like you've caught the No Man's Sky bug. Trust me, I have. In my opinion, No Man's Sky only needs 2 things to be perfect. 1, more variety in planets, including more types of planets, animals, weather, and buildings. Number 2, storyline. A storyline that encourages us to explore these planets. If they keep adding more assets to the planet generation and more storyline in every update, then that's all the game would need to keep people interested. Yes, I 100% agree with you. A storyline is needed ASAP. There needs to be an incentive for us to explore. As you said, this could be down to things like buildings, something that encourages us to explore them, because at the moment there isn't a reason apart from you enjoying it. It's like you force yourself to like it. You're like, oh, that's a beautiful view, let me go and have a look at it. There's no actual physical reward, and for some people that might not bother them, but for the most part it does just need an improvement. So yes, thank you very much. I 100% agree with you. Thank you very much, Mac, for taking the time to comment. Love you lots, babes. And finally, we have a comment from someone called MultiDroid111, who simply states, I would just love to play with my friends and explore planets together and starting an own faction. That's all I want. Could not have said it better. I keep banging on about multiplayer, and it seems like a lot of other people want multiplayer as well, even if it's not the fat ass multiplayer we hope for. Just the idea of stumbling across someone else traveling is amazing. It's enough to sell the game. So I definitely agree with you, and I think a lot of other people will agree with you, because multiplayer, to be honest with you, would revive the game in my opinion. So again, thank you for that. So that is the end of the video, guys. Obviously, I couldn't fit every comment in this video, but I do hope you enjoyed. As always, if you do want to have your comment featured in a future video, then please do let me know something which you like about No Man's Sky, perhaps don't, or something you would add to the game, and then I will note you down for future reference. But I do hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if you did enjoy, then please do feel free to drop a like on the video. If you guys could also subscribe to this channel, then that would be absolutely fantastic. And as always, I will see you guys on my next video. This is SkintBoot, signing out.